My name's Nate. I painted these they're called HO scale trains. Weather them, paint the wheels silver, make them look like how I want them to look. So because I grew up on the West Coast, most of my memories of growing up beside the train yard were really wet and kind of dirty trains. So that's why a lot of these are kind of aged to look a certain way in my mind. I don't want them to look too rusted. I want them to look more like they were sitting in the rain for a while. So when you look up close, you can see a lot of the streaks and it looks like it's just been rained on. It's kind of dirty. Like they're at least a few years old and they've been traveling around the country and stuff. Most of these are painted primarily with toothpick. So I'll use acrylic ink, dip the acrylic, blot out a little bit of acrylic ink, and I'll whittle a toothpick down with an X-Acto knife to make it as thin as I want. And toothpick kind of emulates the spray cap that I would use to get the certain effects that I want. So I use the toothpick and just sit there and carefully kind of paint over and add the detail work that I want to it. And I try to keep it pretty realistic to how a real train would be painted. So if I was standing in front of the train and I didn't have something to stand on, I would be able to reach about that high, which is, about 7-8 feet tall. So I try to keep it that way. And I like, some people don't like graffiti on trains. I like it if it's done properly. So what I like to see is I like to see the numbers left alone. So I'll go around, like on this one over here, I left the logo where it said Wildfire. I kind of added that into my piece. This one, I kept the logo for there. I wanted to go around it and kind of respect the train itself and let it show off. I did these all specifically for this show as well today too. So they're all different stages of weathering, but just kind of wanted to have fun with it. And the name of our show is Focus, so I did a little focus train. So that's about it.
Okay, Chris, talk about a little bit about the title of the show. How do you choose the title?
The title was chosen basically because Nate and I were both focusing extremely hard on just doing a lot of different things that we normally wouldn't do. I started doing these kind of just quick little studies on the lamps that were in Victoria, like lamp posts and stuff, and I just would go around and take photos of them, and just to keep myself focused on staying artistic and creative, essentially was the basis for the show title. So we just kind of thought, well, what's the best word that would kind of encapsulate our studies of the art that we've done lately? And we're like, well, we're focused on our art. And we're like, well, let's just do focus. And it worked quite well with the photography that was also in the show too from another artist. So it just kind of fit for us quite well.
And what new are we seeing here in the show from you, like in your...
I've got a few watercolors that are new. There's a few watercolors that have been hanging up in our house for 5-6 years that have never been shown before, and I thought it was a good time to kind of just let them out and fill a space on a wall, kind of, and it just kind of fit with the rest of the colorful watercolors that I've been creating lately. It just kind of has that vibrant colors that I've been kind of fooling around with that I kind of stopped doing there for a little while, but they've kind of slowly been working its way back in. So.
Tell us a little bit about the abstract that we seeing here from you.
Yeah, just really honestly, I just had fun with it. My abstracts, my background's in graffiti, so it's really technical. It's got a certain style and takes a while to learn how to do it a certain way, and that's got its own set of rules. And when I kind of stopped doing graffiti and took a break from it, I got into abstract and just got into playing with color in general, and just kind of over the last maybe 15 years or so, like my abstract started out pretty bad and just kind of like experimental and stuff, and then now the abstracts that I have here, this is kind of, if I'm not doing something like this miniature with like a little toothpick, I can sit there with a bunch of paint and a palette knife and just really kind of let myself be free. Like I'm not constrained in here, I'm constrained by my idea and my technique and style, and I've got a limited space. On the abstract painting, I just go with whatever emotion I have or whatever concept I'm trying to convey, put on whatever music I feel like listening to, and it's kind of the colors jump out to me, and whatever colors kind of speak to me, that's what I start working with. And I just kind of, as I'm painting it, it just kind of starts coming together, and sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't, and I just got to start over and keep going. The ones I did for this show, they just kind of came together. When we're talking about the point of focusing on something we're doing, something we love, the whole reason we moved to Victoria was just the inspiration of everything. So when we were focusing on it, I was like, I'm going to do some little hidden background stuff within my abstract. So if you look really close, you can see my signature, you can see different things I've written that are kind of slowly pulling through the acrylic paint that normally you might not even take a look at. If you go up really close, you can see the textures I've added and lettering kind of coming out. It was all about having fun. I just wanted something really bright, really colorful. And when Chris was doing all these black and white pen and ink drawings, it's just something that goes well. I have a lot of color in a small space, and then I have a lot of color on a big space, and it just kind of, it's so opposite of each other that it just thought, this will be a good kind of mix of a show for us. So the abstracts just kind of came together that way for the show. Hope you like looking at it.
How long is the show going to be here for?
I believe the show's going to be on until the end of the first week of July. Yeah, so it's going to be a month. It's going to be hanging for a month. So it's
about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks. It's already been up for about a week, and quite a few people have come through. So it's quite nice. It's had a great turnout today. We're really stoked about it. It's really cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for coming out.